Hello everyone, welcome back to another card combo show with me, Chocobilly, and this week I am going to be looking at an exciting card that's been doing the rounds quite a bit. It's Rughadjeen. Rughadjeen, yes, Sky Serpent General Rughadjeen. He has a lot of text here. 4 CP, 9k light forward with the text. Haste, First Strike, Brave, and when I want to say Rughadjeen, but I keep coming up, yeah. Rughadjeen attacks, choose one forward, it gains plus 1000 and haste, plus 1000 first strike, plus 1000 and brave. So basically you can choose up 3 different forwards and they each gain a plus 1000 and then haste, first strike or brave, or you can choose the same forward, give it plus 3k, haste, first strike, brave. So a very good forward. So he enters the field, he can immediately attack with everything and then give something all of those as well. And yeah, it's just, there's so much going on there. There are loads of forwards that can utilize all these effects to some advantage in one way, so he's a very versatile card. He's very easy to play, and yeah, just a really strong card. So first off we have Materia, obviously. Sky Serpent is a really powerful card, so getting him on the field as soon as possible is essential. So getting Materia onto the field, or play Materia, then pay 4 to then search and play Sky Serpent onto the field immediately is really good. Materia also has the text of when a light forward, other materia controls put from field into break zone, draw a card, this effect when trigger once per turn. So it doesn't mean that if your opponent does get rid of Sky Serpent, at least you get a card back, which is something, I guess. It's not much, but yeah, it is what it is. Now, you can also choose Chilinka as well. So Chilinka obviously makes a forward can attack twice. So that would mean Sky Serpent would trigger his attack ability twice. So you would be able to give 2 forwards plus 3k haste, first strike, brave if you wanted, or you know, a multitude of forwards, a variety of those abilities, however you wanted to split it up. And you can obviously search for Chilinka using Yuri. So you could, let's say, have Sky Serpent on the field, you play Yuri onto the field, discard a card, search and play Chilinka onto the field, immediately make it so Sky Serpent can attack twice, attack once, give Yuri the effect. Now obviously when you're attacking a second time, you want to give it something else. So Materia. This makes so much sense, to be perfectly honest with you. You could have 2 backups, and I think it's 6 cards in hand. One of which has to be Yuri, the other of which has to be Materia. You play Materia for 1, you then discard 2 cards to search and play Sky Serpent General Rughadjeen. You then play Yuri, so if you've got 2 backups, dull the backup, discard a card, Yuri onto the field, discard another card, Chilinka comes onto the field, then makes it so Sky Serpent can attack twice, and can make it so Materia and Yuri can also attack. So you go from having 2 backups to having 3 backups, 3 forwards, and 4 attackers. That's crazy. Not to mention the fact that obviously you can disperse Sky Serpent's abilities slightly differently. Materia obviously is only a 2k forward, so really easy to kill. Even Yuri's pretty easy. Sky Serpent's pretty easy to kill, to be perfectly honest with you these days. But making it so that you attack with Sky Serpent the first time, maybe give Materia a few of the abilities to make it so she's a bit bigger, and then on the second attack give Yuri just +1 in haste, and then giving the remainder of the abilities also to Materia again, just making it so that she is a little bit bigger. She can ultimately be pumped up to 7, provided you don't give, or you do give haste to Yuri at the very least. But yeah, that's some pretty decent acceleration to go for, you know, just ultimately 3 forwards, 4 attacks, and 3 backups. All from just having 2 backups and Materia, Yuri, and 4 other cards in hand. Stids of Fire. Pay 1 Earth and Dole, choose 1 forward, and 1 other forward. Until the end of the turn, the former loses haste, first strike, and brave, and then the latter gains all the abilities lost by the previous effect at the end of the turn. I mean, it's good against Sky Serpent, but it's also really good because you can attack with Sky Serpent, give something everything, then use Stids of Fire to take it from that forward and give it something else as well. Probably want to leave it on Sky Serpent because it's a form of protection. I mean, if he's already attacked, maybe not, but still, yeah, just being able to choose Sky Serpent or the forward that has been granted those abilities, using Stids of Fire to pay effectively 2 Earth CP, just give all of those to another forward is really good as well. Aerith. Dull, put Aerith into break zone, choose 1 light card in break zone, as your hand. To be honest, there hasn't been too many good cards which Aerith could retrieve. There are some alright ones, but yeah, Sky Serpent is a card that you want to keep on coming back, and you want him to be persistent. So having Aerith, just break a backup, get him back to your hand, replay him onto the field. Horrible times. Also works nicely with Medine as well, so you must control light forward to cast Medine, choose 1 forward, remove from the game. But it's only a 1 CP summon, so you know, you could have Sky Serpent already on the field, cast Medine, remove something, Aerith, get it back to hand, cast Medine again. You've removed 2 things for effectively 2 CP and breaking Aerith. So yeah, either way, it just works very, very nicely together. Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. It makes a big difference to the channel. Liking especially because it means that people that otherwise might not have found the channel naturally will be recommended the channel in their feed. So yeah, big help if you do that. And also, something like 80% of the people that watch these videos aren't subscribed. So subscribe. I went backwards, not forwards. Go. And yeah, this is a bit of a hard sell, I admit, but if a forward in your break zone has haste, first strike, or brave, Go gains those abilities. Obviously, I mean, the old card used to be, was it Infernal Chaos or something like that? But yeah, there is a Chaos which has haste, first strike, brave. Wasn't ever really that great of a card. And then obviously in the past couple sets we've had Warrior of Light, who has all those as well. But now we have Sky Serpent, General Rughadjeen as well. So you could be running both Warrior of Light and Sky Serpent, and Go's pretty likely to have all these abilities as long as you have one of them in your break zone. Kirin. Yeah, Kirin can just reveal, what was it, top 5 cards of your deck, choose a forward, 4 among them, cost 4 among them, onto the field and return the others to the bottom of your deck in any order. There are a stupid amount of good cost 4 cards, and Kirin being able to play Sky Serpent, you attack with Sky Serpent to then make Kirin have haste. That's disgusting. Rufus. Ugh. Yeah, so let's say you, I don't know, play Sky Serpent onto the field for 4. And the cards you discarded were, I don't know, Rude and Reno. And then you play Rufus onto the field for only 2 CP. Make your opponent discard a card. Attack with Sky Serpent. Make it so Rufus can attack. And then attack with him and make your opponent discard a card again. Maybe done on free something. You know, there's so many good ways to be able to just make this a disgusting play against your opponent, because they've now discarded probably 2 cards. You may done on throws out 2 characters, I don't know. But ultimately, you've also got Sky Serpent and Rufus on the field, which are 2 horrible forward stuff to face up against very early and very quickly. Thanos. So, if you are attacking with multiple forwards, you want to make it so that EXs are somewhat unpalatable. So, like what I said earlier with Materia, Yuri, Chalinka, Sky Serpent, you're going to have potentially 4 attacks. You'll want to make it so that they don't get hit by EX bursts, and there are a lot of EX bursts in the game now. So, cards like Thanos, or Princess Sarah, or is it Opus? Christ, when was he printed? Like Opus 6? Wall, the Earth Wall. When you enter the attack phase, you get to choose a variety of things, one of which forwards cannot be chosen by EX bursts that choose. So yeah, either way, just having some form of protection against EX bursts is pretty important, because if you're attacking multiple times, or just have multiple forwards that want to attack out of the blue, you don't want to stop that momentum. Hien. I mean, it's not hard to get Hien to have haste, especially in a proper Scions deck, but still. Attack with Sky Serpent to give Hien haste. Attack with Hien, give all the other things, I don't know, reactivation and attack again, potentially. Yeah, it just fits nicely into, or Sky Serpent just fits very nicely into a Scions deck, to be perfectly honest with you. And having it so that Hien doesn't actually have to have the prerequisite of all the characters on the field to be able to start going ham. It's pretty scary, to be honest, because you could potentially go straight into, what, turn 1, Elise to Grahatia to Alphano or something. Following turn, Hien, then Sky Serpent. Yeah, it's just, you can go really, really hard, really, really fast. Squall. So one of the best things about this card, obviously, is if either player has 2 cards less than his hand, it gains haste, and obviously deals 4k to the board. However, if both you and your opponent have no cards in hand, Squall gains first strike, brave, and Squall can attack twice on the same turn. So obviously the double attack is the nice thing, but that being said, first strike is also very important, because it means obviously Squall is effectively a 12k attacker at that point, and obviously if your opponent blocks, even more so. But if you are in a deck where you actually don't want to limit yourself with, you know, not so many cards in hand, just give them haste with Sky Serpent. Attack with Sky Serpent, opponent probably doesn't want to block. Attack with Squall, opponent definitely doesn't want to block. So yeah, kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And yeah, like I said, you don't have to get your card size, your hand size down to give him haste or first strike, because Sky Serpent will be doing that for free. Tulian. This is great because obviously you can attack with Sky Serpent and give other things first strike, other things haste and brave. but then also having something block as well. Use Thulian just to make it so that forward has to block. Sky Serpent is probably going to kill whatever is blocked, and yeah, just get rid of it. The great thing about it though is that if your opponent does, say, hypothetically have a Warrior of Light, you could buff Sky Serpent. Now obviously the Warrior of Light will be dealing 5k, and he's a 10k, so that's 15k, but with Thulian, battle damage is increased by 2,000, so Sky Serpent, if he buffs himself completely and then deals damage to Warrior of Light with the 5k, you're also going to be trading. So at least that's a way to be able to get around Warrior of Light as well. And then, yeah, making it so that your opponent has to attack on their turn as well. Again, using Thulian, blocking with Sky Serpent because he's big and he's first strike. Arciella. Yeah, so attack with Sky Serpent, give Arciella haste. She enters, she removes a summon. She attacks, she removes a summon. Getting as many counters on Arciella as quickly as possible is fantastic, especially when you're removing summons from your opponent's break zone, especially if they're in lightning, because things like Man and Black are disgusting. So yeah, just remove their summons whilst also giving yourself some defensive mechanisms, and also just going aggressive with Sky Serpent. And again, plus 4k is really useful. Negating all damage to a forward as well with Arciella, fantastic. So getting as many counters on her as quickly as possible is just really good. They're also both 11 cards, so you know, you could be running something like, I don't know, what are they now? Star Sybil to be able to search these guys if you want. Obviously you've got Tyro, which can search any forward. Oh, excuse me, don't know where that came from. I said the word Tyro and immediately got bored. But yeah, Star Sybil obviously can search these guys as well if you wanted. Null. So Null has a really cool attack effect, where he obviously warps himself, that's actually a keyword now, isn't it? But he flickers himself out of the game, where he re-enters at the main phase, and he does something fun. Break a character, deal opponent damage, search for a forward and add to hand. But ultimately, you want him to be a damage, or you want to be a damage tree so that he gains haste. And that's one of his downsides, is that if opponent sees something like that, they maybe don't want to push you to damage 3. So using Sky Serpent to just give him haste. Now, obviously, that's fairly obvious. You can give Null haste through lots of other means as well, but Sky Serpent is a repeated, easy way to do it without eating into your costs, because yes, you could be using something like, I don't know, Red Mage or whatever, to pay a lightning and give him haste, but that's eating into your backups, into your CP costs, and yep, Sky Serpent can just, again, do it for free, reliably, every turn. Kayn, making it so that all your characters activate is really, really nice, or just drawing a card, but making it so that he's also, you know, big as well, first strike, haste, whatever, just making it so that Kayn can actually push through, as well as activating everything, as well as drawing a card. Yeah, just nice, easy, reliable way to keep on giving things haste and keeping things on the field at the same time whilst being big. Durando. So when you attack with Sky Serpent, opponent doesn't really want to block him, and when you attack with the other forward that you've buffed through Sky Serpent, they probably don't want to block that either. However, Durando, they definitely want to block, because when he deals damage to your opponent, choose up to 1 forward in your break zone and up to 1 backup in your break zone. Add it to your hand, so getting 2 cards back to hand for opponent damage. That's gross. Now, let's say hypothetically you played Durando onto the field and then Sky Serpent onto the field. Attack with Sky Serpent, I mean, you go to combat, they immediately have to deal with Sky Serpent and Durando, because that's horrible. They break Sky Serpent, fair enough, Durando now can't attack anymore, but still he is there as a threat. But you attack with Sky Serpent, you give Durando plus 3k haste, first strike, brave. That's another forward they don't want to have dealt damage to him, but also they don't want to really be blocking because he's going to kill whatever he hits. Hyo, so, I mean, this is, yeah, you get to save yourself 1 lightning CP potentially, but you play the 1 CP onto the field, and then you attack with Sky Serpent, give Hyo all the buffs, he'll be 6k, which means that you still need a passive 1k buff from somewhere, but then you can pay the 3 CP to make it so that Hyo will deal damage of, or when he deals damage to your opponent, the damage becomes 2. However, when you buff him to 10k, he then is actually a 13k, because he still has the Sky Serpent buffs on top of him anyway. So yeah, Sky Serpent being able to buff by 3 is quite nice if you have another 1k buff from somewhere. It could be Lulu, it could be, I don't know, maybe you've got the Aerith buffing everything by 2 as well. So yeah, it just makes it a little bit easier to hit Hyo's effect without having to pay that additional 1 CP. Not that that's much, but still could come out of nowhere and benefit you nicely. Naja Salahim. So again, a forward your opponent doesn't want being dealt damage, but at the same time won't be wanting to block. Now, arguably, Naja Salahim won't be as strong, because, well, I say arguably, she won't be as strong. She'll only be in 8k with Haste, First Strike, Brave. But still, she cannot be chosen by opponent summon's abilities, and can, when she deals damage, obviously get to choose a counter. Choose a character, select one counter, place on it, double the counters of the same type, select on that character. So, Choco Latte. You could actually use it alongside, oh, what's his name? The Wind Black Mage that puts poison counters on things. I've forgotten his name now. But you can be doubling those as well, which could be a lot of fun. But yeah, just again, a nice, reliable way to be able to give Naja Salahim haste. And one of the reasons Sky Serpent's really nice is because he is able to give forwards in any element haste. There are obviously other ways of doing that in certain cards and certain elements, but a light card can be played in pretty much any deck. So you can be mono Wind with Naja Salahim and just give her haste out of nowhere. Wind doesn't really have any means of giving haste properly, so yeah, making her big and hasty and brave and first striking and also untargetable is pretty grim. Astos. So he has Brave already, and when he enters the field you get to gain a crystal, but let's say you've gained that crystal into your third crystal, you attack with Sky Serpent, you give Astos haste, and you then go to attack with Astos, attack, he's already got Brave like I said, and then you can dull because he's got haste, pay 3 crystals, dull all the forwards your opponent controls, then deal 9,000 damage to all the dull forwards your opponent controls. So you've dulled and killed probably every forward they have, which is, again, nice. Out of the blue, if you've got Sky Serpent, they don't know what's going to hit them next. You play Astos, go to 3 crystals, attack with Astos, kill everything. Onion Knight, this is a fun one. So when Onion Knight enters the field, choose one forward. It gains its forward, cannot attack or block until the end of the turn. And then obviously you can dull Onion Knight to play a forward of course 3 or 4 from your hand onto the field. Nope, skipping ahead, sorry. But this is quite nice because you can play him onto the field, attack with Sky Serpent, give Onion Knight haste, whatever. And obviously you've made it so something can't block. You then attack with Onion Knight. He's got Brave as well. Hopefully, again, that forward can't block. And then you can use Onion Knight's ability afterwards to then play something else onto the field as well. So, yeah, you can play Onion Knight, actually make it so something can't block, attack with Onion Knight, and still be able to use this effect immediately, and then to play something else onto the field as well. And being able to trade up Onion Knight, well, firstly, to potentially a point of damage, but then also into a 3 or 4 CP forward onto the field is really, really good. And then finally, Curiosette. So when he enters the field, you gain a crystal. This is similar to Astos, to be fair. And then when a forward opponent controls put from the field to the break zone, gain a crystal. The effect will only trigger once per turn, but we don't care about that. It's giving him haste and Brave. So when Curiosette enters the field, you gain a crystal. You then attack with Sky Serpent, give Curie Brave, haste, then attack with Curie, remove 3 crystals, dull, and you get to dull and freeze all the characters your opponent controls. Obviously, you're going to use ability once per turn. Only during your turn. But, yeah, again, if you play Sky Serpent and Curiosette in one turn out of the blue, and you have enough crystals to be able to use Curie's effect, you've done and frozen everything, and you've got a forward that gives haste to lots of things very quickly. That is scary, especially in Ice. And like I said earlier, with Rufus, that coming out of nowhere is horrible. Curiosette as well, potentially, could be very horrible. You have to be mindful of the fact that your opponent probably can break things like Sky Serpent and Curie, so you need some means of protection in there somehow. But still, Sky Serpent can make a deck go ham really fast, and there's lots of decks that go fast already. So yeah, using Sky Serpent into Curiosette, to be honest, I think Sky Serpent in Ice in general can be gross because there are so many good on-attack effects of Ice cards. The problem is that they never really got to attack because they were either too small or they were too slow. Now that doesn't matter, because Sky Serpent fixes literally both of those. And yeah, that's Sky Serpent. He's just a really, really strong card, and I think he's going to be appearing in a lot of decks. I can imagine him being played a lot with Kirin and that sort of style of deck where there's just lots of 4 costs. Because 4 costs generally are very, very powerful, so are 3 costs as well. But Kirin straight into this dude is insane. I mean, just being able to buff so many things, give so many effects all the time is scary. But yeah, what have you guys put him in? What are you planning to put him in? What have you seen him in? And how would you combo with him? Because he's just such a versatile card that can work so well with so many things. And, you know, I'm not going to list off every single forward that has the ability to dull themselves to use an effect or, you know, an on-attack effect, but Sky Serpent makes it so that cards that were previously not so good are really good because you can start using their effects immediately. I really like that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay safe, be lucky, and I will see you in the next video.